Hello, 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 everyone. Whoops, wrong background. There you go. Dr. Rowena Winkler here. And this conversation in particular is very, very long overdue. We're talking about Leo season today, and for a variety of different reasons, including me being sick when I had my postpartum psychosis after having my kiddo. And then I think on your end, Cozette, Blaine got sick. So we had a lot happening. But here we are. We are here finally to talk about our kids and Leo season. So welcome to Cozette, Conrad. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. I do think it's a little funny that our Leo kids were the ones who got in the way of the schedule.
Yeah, that tracks, right? That's on brand. That's totally on brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to chat. When I was thinking through Leo season and who I wanted to talk to, I was like, oh, what better way than to hear from the mom of a Leo son, as I was about to now have a 12-week-old who is a Leo son. You know, when you interact with Blaine, do you feel like, what are some aspects of the Leo-ness that might come out in how he, interacts with you and your husband?
Oh yeah, he is a Leo through and through. And I'm nowhere near as well versed in astrology as our lovely host here, Rowena, who has taught me most of what I know. But I mean, even if you're not super well versed, you think of Leos as fierce and center of attention and loud and creative, funny. I mean, he's all of those things. Like from day one, he was like the very first thing he did when he was born was he bit the doctor's finger. Um, so
Right. Yeah.
immediately out the gate, yeah, he was already center of attention, fierce, like focus on me. Yeah.
Well, one of the resources that I use is, I don't think I have. Oh, it's in my bookshelf. The 12 Faces of the Goddess, which is about astrology and how the different signs manifest in different ways. And one of the quotes that I took from there that I really enjoyed is that Leo's their creativity is inspiration embodied. How does Blaine show an embodiment of creativity? Like, how does that manifest with him?
He is so imaginative.
Yeah.
His imagination play and even the way that he goes about problem solving,
Yeah.
whether it's working on some homework things for school or just like coming across an obstacle, it is so creative and imaginative. And it always wows us because sometimes you're like, well, there's a very simple solution, at least for me, as a Sagittarius sun, Virgo moon, Aquarius rising. And like, here's the answer. This is the way to do it. And I'll see something that I think is so obvious, and he will find like this most loosey-goosey, free-flowing way around it and still get to like the solution or the right
I
thing,
love that.
no matter what it is. He's so creative and imaginative.
Well, I like that you brought up your big three too, because Blaine is a Sagittarius rising and you're a Sagittarius sun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, oftentimes when we have our big threes are somewhere related, then there could be a special connection there. So how do you as a Sag mama, how does that fire meet with that fire?
It is fire with fire in like the good and the bad, right? Because
Okay.
like we will both get fired up and excited about something in the same way. Sometimes like we gang up on Shane and my husband, and we will pick on him, and we'll be like, we both want McDonald's, and he'll be like, but I want Wendy's, or whatever it might be. We're like,
Yeah.
and it also comes out when we're not seeing eye to eye. It's very
Mm.
fire meets fire
Yeah, yeah.
as well, yeah, with those kinds of conversations. So that's definitely a fun learning curve, and I think it's really interesting to see so much of myself in my son. So it's just like seeing a lot of the same characteristics, but in a boy that like I've always had as a girl, which is another interesting layer to it as well.
Yeah, yeah, that is very interesting. That's a interesting layer. So Blaine, in his astrological chart, he has a lot of planets in both the second house, which represents resources and stability. It's that Taurus energy, right?
Mhm.
So coziness, which I can't. I feel like I always see pictures of you cuddling up. Like those are all your Snapchats.
He's very. I actually think his love language might be physical touch.
Oh, yeah. Okay, okay. That, I
Yeah.
mean, that goes to show there. And then also he has planets in the third house of communication. So do you see him like, does he speak well? Does he, how like how does he intellectualize things?
Oh my gosh, that is I did not know that, but yes, it makes sense. He does. He started talking pretty young,
Yeah.
and he was really clear and easy to understand when he was, 18 months
Mm,
to, like, when he started talking, it wasn't really so much of that toddler babble. So
yeah.
that is really interesting. But yeah, he is communicative actually, and there's a nature versus nurture component. We try to teach him to communicate his needs and to tell us if he's having a problem and to use
Mhm.
words. But he picks up on it pretty quickly. So,
Yeah.
maybe there's also he's naturally good at communicating. And
Well, yeah.
he is a very good reader already, so I have to brag. He's
Oh, yeah. Is
ranking
he?
high on some reading assessments.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, and because he has a lot of planets in that third house, so he's able to communicate and be eloquent and articulate. So Sarah here commented that Blaine has always been an eloquent speaker. So yeah, we got we got the backup here. We got the confirmation that it's
Yep.
not just proud mama saying it. We got folks saying that as well. So I was initially excited, thankfully, right before this call we confirmed because I had the wrong birth year for Blaine when I pulled up his chart. But it's okay. I was initially excited because I thought both of our sons had the same big three, but they have 2 out of 3, which ain't bad.
Mm.
Um, Robbie, my son, also is a Leo sun and also is a Sag rising. So, but as a lot of folks know, I'm a Pisces, so I'm a water sign. So we're gonna have to see how that's gonna play out in the good
Yeah.
and the bad too, because like you said, with that fire and fire, but like mom's emotional, so I don't know how we're gonna counteract with that. And Robbie's big sister Carrie is also a Pisces, so
I
you
was
just
about to say, he's gonna have a lot of watery, emotional women trying
yes,
to put that
and
fire
then
down a little.
and then Derek, my husband, is Gemini, so he's air. So like it'll be interesting to see how Robbie contends with that. And if you go to my Instagram, you'll see that I do more of an in-depth reading of Robbie's chart and I talk about how he has fire, but also earth. So he will be grounding the whole family probably as time goes on. So check that out. But one thing I do want to say is that Robbie has a lot of planets in the ninth house, which is the Sagittarius house. So that's the house of like traveling and higher education and publishing and religion and like so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out as Robbie gets he's only 12 weeks so I don't really know what that's looking like yet.
Are you already seeing any of these? Probably some of that
Yeah,
Leo energy.
yeah, you know what? He's so chill. So I don't know. I'll be curious to see. He definitely I would, that ninth house energy, he like definitely is very observant, right? So even as just a little baby, he's like always like looking around and like we see him like taking on the world. Oh, you know how he shows the Leo? When he's starting to smile. So like
Oh.
you'll come greet him in the morning and he's like already so charismatic and charming.
Yep, yep.
You know what I mean? So I know that Blaine does that too. I feel
Yeah,
like that's where they're gonna get us is like they're just gonna do that cute smile or something of that nature, and we're going to fall apart.
yeah, and honestly, Blaine was like that as an infant too. So he
Yeah.
was really alert, he was really observant. We would say like he wanted to be big. He wanted to be part of the big things that we were
Mm,
doing. Not necessarily that he walked early or anything, he didn't, but you could just tell that he was like trying to be with
yeah.
everyone, to be one of the big
Want to
kids.
be with the people.
Guys. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So okay, we were talking about this, charisma that Leos can bring and this self-confidence. How do you, okay, because I think I'm gonna learn from you, because like how do you allow like how do you toe the line between, making sure he's safe or giving him like external validation versus him be just having that self-confidence and being able to fend for himself. Does that make sense?
It does. The first thing I think of is, he has the confidence when it comes to playing with other kids on the playground,
Mm.
which is so great. And he wants to go up and talk to them and be their best friend and jump and climb around on the things with them. And like, I'm always like, oh, be careful. And I want to like step in, but I have to hold myself back.
Yeah.
And I think that that goes for a lot of public spaces that we're in. He wants to talk to someone. He will like overhear someone and butt into their conversation, and he'll want to be part of it. He'll answer things. He always wants to answer every question in school, like all of these things. So it's an interesting balance where I'm trying to make sure that he still feels safe and empowered to explore that, but at
Yeah.
the same time, not to an over extent where he will hurt himself, whether it's physically or emotionally, by wanting to play with somebody and they just like, what? No, and turn him down, right? Because he
Yeah.
wants to be part of it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Gosh, it's so hard to, I mean, I felt that way with my daughter too, just, not be like, "Ugh, ugh." Like, nope, nope. It's
Yeah.
okay. Let her figure it out. But I know that with that Leo fire, they just want to do everything right away. Uh, you know, at, in the in the post for today, we brought up conscious parenting. So what does it mean to you to be a conscious parent, especially for a little Leo child?
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I think for me, especially with a little Leo, and he's our only child, so he's the focus of all my parenting. But I think it's really just recognizing who they are and what they need and what their
Mm,
experiences and expectations are, and trying to take that into account. Because as adults, we have so much more information, and there are so many things that we think, oh, they should know better than that, or, oh, why are they
mm,
wanting to do it this way? And
mm,
it's so hard to like consciously kind of step out of that sort of that curse of knowledge, right? And think from their shoes,
mm,
especially, given that he's this fiery, fierce Leo who wants to be in the center of everything. And me as a child with the Sagittarius, I was kind of like independent. I
yeah,
I wasn't always seeking that that other play and everything with everyone. Not that I never did, but not at the level that he is, right?
mm,
I kind of just enjoyed like my own sort of like space, and I was
yeah,
really straightforward. And if someone was straightforward back with me and said no thanks, I said okay. And so it's really interesting because I'm trying to like step into the shoes of a child, as well as a child who's very different from how I was in most ways. So I guess that's what I think of conscious parenting, is just putting your head in a different space.
mhm, mhm.
It's
Do you
hard.
have Yeah, no, it is.
It's
Without,
really
that's my next question is like, how do you, like, do you have any tips or tools on how to do that? Do you just have to like take a deep breath or like take a beat? Like, how do you step inside, especially if things are really activating or
I
something
mean,
of
I
that nature?
yeah, I do. Like I take a breath, I take a beat,
Mm.
which is also a tool that we teach him, right? So I try to model it as well,
Aw,
which is also hard. But I think it's also comes back to that communication, right? Thankfully, Blaine
mhm,
is communicative, right? So
mm,
I can say, "Tell me what's wrong. Tell me why you're feeling this way. Like,
mhm.
communicate it to me, and then maybe I can understand a little better and I can help out."
Yeah. Well, it shows like Blaine has a Libra moon. So the moon sign, for folks that aren't familiar with that, it's what people see when you're most intimate with them. So it's partners or parents or siblings or really, really close friends. It's that safety and security that you feel. And for Blaine, it's Libra, and Libra is the sign of relationships. So,
Yeah.
again, his home, like what makes him feel safe is relationships and being able to connect in that way. Does that seem to track for him?
Yes. Yes. I mean, he is just like, he is so caring, and he has such a big heart, and he is just like the sweetest when it comes to like trying to make sure that we feel happy as well, and keeping those
Mm.
relationships like every morning when he leaves for school, I say, have a good day, I love you, have a good day at school. And he'll say, have a good day working. Or what if I'm doing something, have a good day, have a good day sleeping. He'll say sometimes he goes to bed and he leaves really early. And I'm like, all right, that's I wish. But it's so cute. Like he clearly like is trying to kind of take what I'm putting out and put it back
Yeah.
out. me. And his new thing is telling us how much he like. It is so sweet, telling us how much he loves us. But like,
Aw.
you're the best, 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 and like it's a competition. You have to do it back and forth to see who can do like the most like bests.
Yes.
So it's definitely a combo of that Leo and that
Yeah,
Libra.
it is. It is.
Yeah.
You're the best mom. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
you're the best. No, you're the best. Yeah.
That's really cute. No, that's really sweet. As I, and it'll be interesting to see how this will play out for Robbie when he gets older because as I said before, I thought they were the same, but I was wrong because I had the wrong year. But Robbie has an Aquarius moon, so that's definitely that's the air sign. So it's definitely more on the intellectual side where he's going to be turning to, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe he'll be a studious nerd like his parents.
That would not surprise me.
Maybe he'll like to read as well as mom does.
Yeah.
And we'll see. Like maybe he will be more like. What's your moon again?
I am a Virgo moon.
Oh, Virgo. Oh, that's right. We've
Mhm.
talked about this because you like to
Mhm.
organize things.
Yes, I like to organize things. Yes, yes. You know I'm stressed if my house is spotless.
Yup. That's right. That's right. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out for him as well. Another quote that I got from that same book about the different zodiac signs is for Leos, it says Leo children need to feel supported to shine.
Mm, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. What are the ways in which you support Blaine so he can shine?
I mean, I'm always telling him he's like the best thing in the entire world, but I mean, I feel like that's any mom, right? Any conscious parent. No,
Sure.
I think, yeah, that makes sense because even when he's trying something new, he definitely kind of like looks over his shoulder to like, okay, yeah, you can tell me I'm doing a good job. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Especially like he has done T-ball this past year, and
Oh,
I know it was his first time. It was so sweet, and then he does ballet and tap class. And so
yes.
we show him that we support him by saying, practice at home, or we'll with T-ball, we would bring out a whole cheering section to watch the games, which he
That's
loved. But
amazing.
he would like pay attention more and play better and do better at either of those things when like he could see us like on the sidelines cheering him on.
Do you find it, has there been times where he wants to move forward? And he's fairly young, right? He's 5, right?
Yeah.
So I'll be curious, and we can revisit this in a couple of years, maybe when the kids are teens. Ugh, oh my gosh, that's so hard to believe. But have there been moments where like you have challenges in terms of him shining his own light without you like getting in the way or like you wanting him to do what you want, you know what I mean? Like you doing what you want for him to do versus him wanting to, or has that not happened so much yet? Because
Nothing big yet. But again, I think I do see that in some of those like friendships that he has had with other little kids where, you know, he thinks that if he wants to play a certain way or say a certain thing or go somewhere or whatever, he'll just do it, even though sometimes we're like, hey, I don't know. Be like, well, that kid did this and I want to be their friend and I want to do what they want to do. And we're like, well, we don't know if that's like the safest choice or the best choice. And some kid we don't know at school or something. And yeah, so there are times where I'm like, are you actually playing nicely or are you following the lead of somebody because you like you and think you're cool?
Or he can want to play something and my kiddo will say no, which happened the last time. I was like, oh my goodness, my Pisces drama queen Kerrigan was just like, no thank you to these games.
Well, when they're at my house, he's the drama queen. So I mean
It happens. It
he's so sweet.
happens.
Yeah.
So so we talked about the Leo, we talked about the mood. What about that? Anything about the Sag rising other than, how that interacts with your Sag that may come to mind?
So I did like a little bit of homework before this.
Of
And I
course
wrote
you
down
did.
just a couple random things.
Yeah,
So
let's hear it.
Sag rising, because I'm not as familiar again with like the moons and
Yeah.
risings. I saw that said that makes him optimistic, energetic, outspoken, which yes,
Mm,
witty, and expressive, which I thought expressive was really
that's
interesting
a good
because
word.
that kid is so expressive. Like you know exactly what he's thinking. He will make the face. Ever since he was really baby, like really little baby, he was expressive. You could tell like he's uncomfortable. And
Oh, that's
witty.
true. Robbie does
So
that
witty.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Robbie's the sad rising too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you can see it. You can read their faces.
Yeah.
And I thought that was such an interesting. I didn't know that that was a trait of his Sag rising. But he's really witty. He likes jokes. He likes to make up jokes and tell jokes. And he'll say something really weird or off or like incorrect, and we kind of give him a quizzical look, and he'll go, "Tricked ya!" Like I don't
That
know
is
what he's
really
going for, but
funny.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love
So
that. I love that.
yeah,
Do you think well, I was gonna say, was he expressive as a baby?
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a
Okay.
video of him at, like I mean, he's born August 15th, so whenever, like, pumpkin spice season started that year, I so a couple weeks old, honestly, where maybe a month old, where I have a video where I'm asking, like, "Who wants to go to Starbucks and get a pumpkin spice latte?" And he just does this.
Oh
Like
my
this cheeky
gosh.
little he didn't understand what I was saying, but he was, like, mimicking back the faces that I was
Oh,
making.
wow.
And I go back and look at that, I'm like, he was so little, and I could
Yeah.
tell his expressions, and I've never known any different, but I don't think other babies are automatically that, like, telling with their face.
Yeah, well, because 'cause I'm thinking about it and, like, Robbie's already starting to do some of that. I mean, he's little, but, um, yeah, that's really fun to
Mhm.
and then that'll even come out even more as they grow older.
Oh, yes.
Um, okay, is there let's see, let me make sure I'm looking my notes too. All right, I know we talked about it a hot second, but just wanted to give more space for this. Frustrations, right? Obviously, you love your kiddo, but as with any relationship, there's some challenges. Based off of Blaine's chart and what we've talked about so far, what are some challenges that may come up in parenting this little Leo?
Yeah, so on the flip side of the incredible imaginative play that we love to see him get so involved in, he also, like, gets a little bit too far with this sometimes, and that's a bit of a frustration where, like, he wants to play knights or whatever it is, he's got these, like, toy swords, and he's running
Mhm.
around, and he wants to play pretend with the dogs, and the next thing you know, the dog's kinda barking, and you're like, "Did you get in their face? Did you hit the dog?" He's like, "No, no, no." But I think he gets so into it sometimes that he forgets the
Yeah.
line between reality and imagination. So that's definitely a frustration that we have to kind of like tamp it down, which is sad. Like I don't want to tamp it down, but it's like you're going a little too far now. Um,
Mhm.
he also is again the flip side of that sort of wittiness. Like he'll find a loophole. Like
What does that mean?
like, if there's a rule, he will find, like, a creative way where he's not technically
Oh.
breaking the rules.
That's so
Like
good.
and I'm like, I can't even be mad because
Yeah.
technically, like, you're not like, again, like, with the dogs is one of the things we'll be like, "Blaine, like, do not touch their faces so much," I know, like, he's cuddly, he's touchy, he wants to hug them, but we're like, "They don't like that. How would you feel? Someone's constantly in your face." So then he'll kinda, like, move a couple inches back, like, "Technically, this isn't her face, this is her neck." And I'm like, "You get I need to give you, like, a diagram of,
Yeah.
like, very specific instructions to not hug the dog around her neck either because she's
Oh.
uncomfortable."
Yeah. That
Yeah,
is that is so funny that
yeah.
the little loophole is so that's smart.
He is too smart. He is too
Too
smart for
smart,
us.
too
Yeah.
smart,
Mhm.
too smart.
Love
Well, what do you have any final thoughts or pieces of advice for other moms who have little like myself included? We've
it.
got these little Leo. Are those and those are the dogs that are in
Yep,
question?
yep. Sorry about that.
I know you're fine. Um, any last words of advice on how to contend with a Leo kid?
I mean, honestly, it depends on, I guess, your own parenting style or personality, but for me, the number one piece of advice is just, like, try your best to roll with the energy because
Mm,
sometimes it feels like so much. Like there's just so much energy and there's like so much wanting to run around and jump and play, but try
Yeah.
to roll with it, take a deep breath. I mean, there are times when I'm just like, I worked all day. I just want to like sit down and like play a nice calm board game or something together. Like I want to spend time with you, but like, can we read a book or something instead of
Yeah.
running around gallivanting, like knights and princesses or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, and then, of course, like, he also is at the age now where he really wants to play video games all the time because I think it
Mm.
really, like, scratches that creative, energetic itch that he has, that he wants
Yeah.
to, like, engage in something that's constantly moving, and, um, trying to find a balance there is difficult. So I guess the advice in that realm would be, like, set parameters, like, set
Mhm.
screen time rules early on because
Yeah.
he will find a way to be like, "But yesterday you let me do 2 levels," and it's just like,
Mm.
yeah, just be, like,
Well,
clear with it and be consistent, and they're pretty good little signs to follow clear, consistent rules. It's just, finding those loopholes, ways around them.
yeah, for sure,
Mhm.
for sure. Man, those Leos and those loopholes, man. Definitely something to consider for myself as my kiddo grows older,
Oh, yeah,
but
he finds a way.
well, I just wanna thank you so much for chatting with me about this. I think it was really fun, and like I said, you were the one I thought of when I was like, "Oh, Leo season. What about Leo season? Wait, Leo children." Like, I
Oh,
felt
yeah.
well, especially because Leo rules that 5th house, and that's, like, creativity and family and everything like that. Like, I think that fit in really well, and I certainly learned a lot too from you, so thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to have my little Leo. I'm so excited to see if Robbie grows up to be as kind and sweet and crazy and energetic as Blaine. So
Yeah, yeah, we'll
it'll be
see. I
interesting.
like time will tell on that. But thank you everyone for those of you that tuned in. Tomorrow we're still actually tomorrow we're still catching up. Just kidding. It's Scorpio season now. You know, I'm in a backlog because I got sick, but it's all good. Tomorrow I'll be talking to Heather Jefferson about Libra season and how to stay balanced in a oftentimes unbalanced world. So until then, we'll see you next time and everyone take care. Bye bye.